Hi everyone. Today, we're digging into an old battery tray to find out which batteries are drained. We'll take out the low energy ones and test each with a voltage meter to see what can be recycled or reused. I just found a battery that's completely drained. I just found another battery like that one. I think they can't be used anymore. But don't worry. I have a clever trick. The first step I do is remove the outer casing and core of the two batteries, just to get the black powder inside, which acts as the conductive material. You need to understand that throwing dead or used batteries into the environment may seem small, but the consequences are serious. Batteries contain heavy metals like lead, mercury, cadmium, or nickel, along with electrolytes and black powder inside. When left in the environment, these toxic substances leak into soil and water, seep into farmland and groundwater, enter plants and food, and eventually reach the human body. The result can be kidney, liver, and nervous system diseases, and even cancer. Battery disposal also severely harms animals. Heavy metals and toxic chemicals pollute habitats, causing fish, birds, and wildlife to be poisoned, struggle to reproduce, or die prematurely. If batteries catch fire or are exposed to heat, they can explode, causing forest or house fires, damaging property and the environment. Proper battery disposal is crucial. Instead of throwing them away, we should collect dead batteries and take them to specialized recycling centers for safe reuse or treatment. Heavy metals are separated, and black powder and chemicals inside are recycled, reducing pollution risk and protecting resources for the future. Every small action, like not littering batteries, sorting waste properly, and encouraging others to do the same, helps build a greener, cleaner, and more beautiful environment. When individuals take responsibility for their actions, we protect our health and the planet for future generations. Educating and reminding people about the dangers of old batteries is also crucial, because the more people are aware, the more sustainably the environment is protected. If you find this topic interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Now I'm going to mix some clean sand into the bowl. In this step, I'm going to add 3 spoons of sand and mix it evenly with the conductive powder from the battery. I have a plastic box full of bottle caps, and I'm going to pick the nicest cap to drill a hole right in the center. I have prepared a small piece of copper tube to serve as the battery casing, because copper conducts electricity well and is durable. Next, I stand the copper tube upright and secure it to the back of the bottle cap using hot glue. Don't be sparing with the hot glue. Fill it up to secure it firmly. Just make sure it doesn't overflow outside the cap. I've prepared an aluminum rod to serve as the battery core, inserting it into the hole on the cap so it reaches the far end of the copper tube without sticking out. Try to estimate the rod size, just like I did. I secured the aluminum rod with hot glue on the front side of the cap. In this step, I will mix a bowl of diluted salt water using 250 milliliters of water and 1 spoon of salt. I will use a syringe to draw the diluted salt water from the bowl, making the water injection process that follows more effective. The syringe is filled, and I'll set it aside for now because I'll need it shortly. Now I'm putting the sand and conductive powder mixture into the copper tube from earlier, filling it only about 90% of its capacity. You only need to put in this amount. That's enough. Fill the copper tube with the saltwater solution, making sure it's full, but without spilling over. I'll seal the end of the copper tube with hot glue to keep the mixture inside from spilling out. And I'll trim half of the aluminum rod that's protruding outside the bottle cap. Next, I'm going to design an insulating plastic casing for this homemade battery using a plastic cap and PVC pipe. Everyone, pay attention to my steps. After securing the sealed end of the copper tube with the PVC plastic cap, I'll move on to the step of connecting the wires. I'll connect one end of this short wire to the body of the copper tube. To make it secure, I'll press hot glue around the connection between the wire and the copper tube. Here, I've prepared another short wire and connected one end directly to the exposed aluminum rod. After securely connecting both ends of the two wires, I will attach the remaining ends to two small bolts, serving as the negative and positive terminals of the battery. The bolts must be tightened to ensure good contact and prevent looseness or short circuits. I also check insulation around the bolts to make sure no wire touches the plastic or copper tube. Once both terminals are fixed, the homemade battery is nearly complete and ready for voltage testing before use. In this step, I take another PVC plastic cap of the same size as the previous one and carefully mark the 2 spots that need to be drilled. I just cut a 12 centimeters long tube with a diameter that fits perfectly onto the cap. This tube will serve as an insulating outer casing for the homemade battery, ensuring safety during use and keeping the internal components securely in place. I use hot glue to secure the newly cut plastic tube onto the plastic cap that is already firmly attached to the copper tube. I pour the remaining mixture of sand and conductive powder from the plastic bowl into the mouth of the plastic tube. This fills the empty space, minimizes waste. I'll repeat it a second time, injecting the diluted saltwater solution into the mouth of the tube, just enough to fully soak the sand and conductive powder mixture inside. This step is crucial for the homemade battery to conduct electricity effectively and operate steadily. With the lid that already has 2 pre-drilled holes, I'll cast the threaded parts of the bolts, which were connected from the back, so they protrude through the front surface. This step makes the negative and positive terminals of the homemade battery easy to connect to external electrical devices. To prevent the bolts from slipping inward, I'll use lock nuts to firmly secure them to the lid. This step keeps the negative and positive terminals stable, ensuring a solid connection when using the battery. After securing everything firmly, I will clearly mark the negative and positive terminals on the plastic lid. This makes it easy to identify when connecting to other devices, prevents mistakes, and ensures complete safety while using the homemade battery. I have prepared a dedicated charging tool for this battery, which is a phone charger with its cable ends connected to 2 alligator clips. Now just plug in the power and watch for external signs, like the plastic tube warming slightly or faint crackling sounds. That's the moment to disconnect the power. These signs indicate the battery is fully charged, preventing overload and ensuring safety. This time, I will use a voltage meter to check the homemade battery. The voltage measurement shows 8.99 volts. This indicates that the homemade battery is fully charged and ready to be used for small devices. With a computer fan like this, the homemade battery can definitely power it without any issues. can see on the screen that this fan is spinning very strongly, showing that the homemade battery is supplying enough power to run the device steadily. So the first test was a complete success. I will move on to the final test with a small light bulb. The light is on and both experiments succeeded. I realize this isn't easy for beginners, but with patience, you'll achieve results. If you find this helpful, like, subscribe, and comment to let me know.